Coming up next on The Daily, Montreal gets their first taste of MLS, 3 teams make their 2012 debut, and the Philadelphia Union back on national TV trying to forget Monday night's loss. Welcome to The Daily for Friday, March 16th with Simon Borg. I'm Jason Sagini. The band is finally back together, Simon. We're going to check out some games from this weekend, starting on Saturday, where Montreal makes their home debut in front of what should be a huge crowd against the Chicago Fire, who are making their 2012 season debut. This game, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, early start for this one. Don't miss it. Simon, what are you expecting from this game?
Well, Jason, they're talking about a record crowd at the Big O, a record crowd for soccer in Montreal. But for me, the Impact probably wanted to see any other team except Chicago on the other side. Why? The Fire with those 2 front runners, Patrick Nyarko, Dominic Oduro, they're way too fast for their center backs to handle. We saw the Impact center backs exposed in the first game of the season in Vancouver, Matteo Ferrari, Tyson Wall. So that's the matchup you got to look at.
All right, one of those speedsters, Dominic Oduro, possibly the fastest player in MLS, his words, not ours. So we had him on Extra Time Radio yesterday. You can check that out on iTunes or Buzzsprout. The other guest that we had on the show was Luke Wildman from Toronto FC, their play-by-play guy. He actually had a lot to say about Toronto's victory in Champions League. But now, Simon, we have to look at their MLS season starting on Saturday night in Seattle. A tough place to play now, especially that Seattle maybe has a little chip on their shoulder after the midweek loss.
Absolutely, Jason. Everyone's expecting a reaction out of the Sounders, but I think the bigger story here is the Toronto FC story. Their great end of season in 2011, their elimination of the Galaxy as underdogs in the Champions League. Does it continue? Is this a real team here that can be a force in MLS in 2012?
All right, you can see that game 10 p.m. Eastern Time on the Direct Kick package and MLS Live. Next up, we're going to take a look at a couple nationally televised games, and we start in Philadelphia where the Colorado Rapids come to town. This game, 4 p.m. Eastern Time on the NBC Sports Network, and Simon, Philadelphia Union trying to forget that Monday night loss in Portland.
It wasn't a terrible display by the Union in Portland, but they have to show more in attack. And now for this game against Colorado, they're actually going to lose Freddie Adu, who was supposed to be the inspiration of the offense. But we need to see more out of the newcomers, Josue Martinez, Leonard Pajoy, the forward. And they have to be careful, though, because Colorado in their 4-3-3, they're going to be quick on the counter.
All right, one of the heroes last week for Colorado in their win was Drew Moore. We found out he is at the top of the Castro rankings. You can check that out on MLSsoccer.com. The other game that we have to mention here, the LA Galaxy against DC United. This game is 7 p.m. Eastern Time on Galavision. The Galaxy trying to bounce back from that midweek loss in Champions League. They have 3 games in a row. They haven't had good result. Is DC going to be able to come in and take advantage of it?
The big question for me, you said they have 3 games in a row. Does Bruce Arena decide to give a break to some of his stars? They were talking about fatigue in other games, and I think this would be the game to do it against the DC team that will be missing Perry Kitchen in the midfield and Bill Hamid in goal. Ben Olsen already saying he's going to go with Joe Willis to replace Hamid.
All right, well, you can get that game again, 7 p.m. Eastern Time on Galavision. Other than the 2 games we mentioned earlier, there's plenty of other action on Saturday night, including the San Jose Earthquakes hosting the Houston Dynamo at AT&T Park. Also, the New York Red Bulls headed to Rio Tinto to take on Real Salt Lake. That was a Red Bulls team that came out sputtering. Simon, what game on Saturday night stands out to you?
Jason, I'm circling Dallas against Portland after the 2 wins both teams had in the opening weekend. I think this is a must-win game for Portland. Why? They're going into Dallas, a team that's missing several of their star players. Dallas isn't dealing with humidity and heat that really affected the Timbers last year when they lost 4-0 in Dallas. And the Timbers, they need to just get the first road win out of the way. They do not want to be followed by the road woes story all season long, as occurred last year when they only had 2 wins away from home.
All right, yeah, Brek Shea out with the Olympic camp. Castillo and Ferrara probably not going to be playing for Dallas in that game. I want to mention before we go, Extra Time Radio came out yesterday. You can get it on iTunes or Buzzsprout. Like we said, Dominic Oduro on the show, pretty funny guest. And we also had Luke Wildman recapping all of the Champions League action from Wednesday night. Check it out. Enjoy the weekend, and we'll be back on The Daily on Monday.